you've actually been using that kind of solution set for a while. Analytics, we've said you're probably going to build up a range of models to the point where in any month there are probably a number of things you could do with a customer. You'll be tracking customer behavior, customer transactions. So there'll be some kinds of campaigns that will be responding to what you see customers doing in using a particular product or service. So if they start maybe transacting less, or they start using certain types of services in telco more, you want to pick that up and potentially use that to drive campaigns. Other campaigns where you don't see so much behavior, you might want to actually base your offers based on predictive analytics that we were talking about earlier. But you're going to get a challenge. What of all the things you could do, should you do in a month? And that's what we're going to talk about next. So right now, across Europe, this is probably a fairly typical picture of how most marketing organizations are feeling. So over on the top side there, top left, that's the pressure from the external marketplace. Our customers are changing. The pressure over here is the pressure internally from the fact we've got less budgets because of the weakened economy. So you're going to have to deal in this environment. You're going to have to use the resources you've got, and they're going to be squeezed, and that means probably less money, and that means probably less people, and certainly less time to make better decisions. So how do you do that? It's quite challenging. And you're going to be facing the same kind of problems across lots of different business processes. You've got limited resources. You've only got so much money to spend. You've only got so much capacity in your channels. But you need to use these resources effectively to get the best return. Predictive analytics, we've said, can help you identify the choices you have, the options, but choosing the best thing of all of those options is very difficult. And the solution that we've been working with these kind of technologies for the last probably 20 years or so, optimization will help you find the best solution of many different options. So again, coming back to this kind of concept of customer lifecycle, show you at certain points of this customer lifecycle how we can use optimization to help you get more from the resources you have. And there's three areas I want to focus on. Initially, I want to have a look at acquisition. So when Neil was talking earlier about acquisition, we were saying, well, this is probably going to be driven by the kind of the above-the-line activity, by your TV ads, by your press ads, by your banner ads, by posters, by radio campaigns, by any number of above-the-line activities, probably being used to drive awareness, consideration, and conversion of prospects into customers, forcing them to move from being interested into buying that first product and becoming customers. This is actually some figures from 2007 looking at global annual marketing allocation across all of the different channels. So how much gets pushed into those traditional advertising media? 32%, 31% to consumer promotions. Interactive banner advertising, still quite small, but starting to rise in importance. PR. You see, direct marketing is a relatively small proportion of the overall marketing spend. Search marketing and direct sales. Now that picture, that's 2007, but I think if you probably look back over the few years before that, this would have been very much bigger. And probably some of these other areas have grown up to kind of squeeze. But the fact is, for your organization, this split will be actually quite hard to determine what is the ideal spread of investment across all of those different channels to give you the highest return. And that's where a lot of organizations are facing some quite significant challenges right now. The fact is, a lot of organizations are investing a lot here. If you think about the average direct marketing budget, that's big. If we think about the total promotional budget, that's huge in a lot of organizations. So there's actually quite a lot of risk involved in working out what's the ideal split of income across all those different activities. It's quite hard to work out how they all interrelate to each other. So how does your above-the-line TV advertising impact the effectiveness of your direct mail, for example? Because it's important to understand that. It's very hard to predict the impact of sort of changes in this picture. So if you had 20% budget this year, and a lot of organizations are facing that and a lot more, how do you reallocate your budget to give yourself the best return? And typically we find that these kind of operations are being performed in conjunction with marketing agencies, so they'll be helping with the planning process. But only done relatively infrequently, maybe once a year. They need to be done a lot more often, particularly in a kind of rapidly changing market as we're seeing at the moment, to help you really understand right now what impact am I having from this promotional activity. And very often organisations don't have kind of any in-house capability to do this. It's a fairly specialist kind of area of modelling. So what we'd like to get to is probably deploying a couple of techniques to help marketing organisations work out the split, ideally, of what to spend above the line and what to spend below the line. Within the above the line channels, how to allocate particular media areas, optimally, and then below the line, again, how much on direct marketing, how much on other channels. So a technique that we actually have been working with over the last several years, but now we are moving to be productizing much more. Marketing mix optimization. Helping you really work out those splits. And then once you have worked out those splits, there's another technique, slightly confusingly called marketing optimization, which is going to work, say, within your direct mail, your direct marketing organization to work out how should you allocate budget across different campaigns, different activities to get the best return. Two things are quite different in approach. So if you think about above the line world, it's driven by analytics again. So again, importance of analytics here. Marketing mix models will help you understand the interactions between spend and performance in particular areas. That will typically be put into some kind of simulation analysis framework to help you identify the right mix, the right spread. You know, campaigns, they'll be executed through an agency, designing above the line campaigns. Put up to the market through mass media. Difficult to work out how effective they've been. It's very much looking at sales in the marketplace over certain time periods. So inference reporting is important, actually finding out what's happened. Below the line, quite different. Response probability, absolutely key in driving effective analysis. We can help you get to the best scenario through optimization, executed through campaign management through direct channels, and it's easy to track responses. So typically the process will be, again, as always, getting the right data together, pulling the data together, giving you the right kind of insight to help you understand what's happened, feeding that all information into a modelling process. So marketing mix modelling, some kind of multivariate regression typically, helping you establish the link between your sales and your spend. And then finally, the scenario planning to help you identify the right scenario, the right mix of investment across those channels. Customers doing this, this is a motoring organisation a couple of years ago, who used this. Why? Because they wanted to reach their target market with greater effectiveness and efficiency. How much impact did it have? $13.7 million, so you get the idea of where they were, saved by reducing ineffective marketing. Because they could track directly the impact of above the line marketing spend on performance. And by modelling different kind of combinations, they could come up with the optimal that generated huge savings and help them achieve their objectives.